So that's your ability to be able to set up the accounting side, along with you creating really how you're going to bill your associations. And so the management fees are specific to your regular contract fees. You can create a minimum or a maximum rate. We have a lot of different levels you can work through if you have some really specific billing needs for your associations. And you can also set your contract length whenever the contract starts. If it's for multiple years, you can set that up, or maybe it's a year to year. You can also have your contracts renew at CPI or at a percentage you set for a number of years you can set. So lots of flexibility with this. You're also able to create, when you enter your monthly rate, you can base that off of a fixed rate or a rate per unit. And here's where having your corporate accounting in the same software that you do your association accounting is a benefit. So you have all of your homeowners listed in CINC, which means we can count your per units, your per unit rate. So looking down here with all of our different statuses, let's say you have a new development and you're going to bill the association a different rate based on whether there's a homeowner living there or a builder. And so you can charge those different setups with different rates. And of course, CINC already knows how many homeowners are in this status, so we count that for you. All you're entering in is the rate. Another way to do this is if you have, and we'll keep along the same lines of a new development, maybe you've got phase one has 75 units. And once phase one is done, there's going to be a rate change. So for my tier one, anywhere between 1 and 75 units, I'm going to charge this rate. Once we get into phase two, from 76 to 199, we're going to change the rate. It's going to actually lower because, of course, the quantity is going up. But that's up to you. You can set it however you want it. There's a lot of flexibility with how you set up your management fees. Now, the big benefit here is CINC will create the invoice for you, and a couple of things. So it generates an invoice that you can either send to your boards for approval if that's your style and you want them to approve invoices for your management contract, or you could say they've already signed a contract, so I'm going to go ahead and pay myself. And instead of cutting yourself a check from the association's account, if you're with one of our AI partner banks or you have an integrated bank, you can set yourself up to be paid via ACH. So once you post your management fees, you get paid immediately. And that's one of the big benefits our clients are seeing. That's management fees. The other side of this is everything else you bill for. So a lot of our clients make money on things other than just their contracts. You may charge for charge for postage, for printing, for office supplies, whatever else you may bill your associations for. You can create those under our addendum billing. And that allows you to create different categories, like you saw administrative, but then you also have the individual billing items within each category, and you set up the rate. For some things, if it happens in CINC and we're able to count it, we can tally up the quantity of what happens throughout the month. And then you post those addendum billing items however regularly you want to, usually once a month. And this creates another invoice for you. And I actually have an example of one that I'll go ahead and show. So here's an example of an invoice that you would send to your associations for just your addendum billing items. And so it'll capture the main category, the individual items within each category, what the quantity was, and then count the cost per quantity. And this is what you can include if you're having, again, your boards go through an approval process for all of these things. You can send this invoice through that approval process, or you can include it with your financial packages along with all the other invoices the association paid at the end of the month. So that's really management module, and there's a lot more to it for sure. But that's really where the system functionality comes into play with you setting up your management fees and creating your addendum billing items to be able to bill your associations and get paid fast. Another thing that I didn't mention, but I'll go over real quick, for all of the items that don't happen within CINC and CINC cannot count, like things that are coming from your postage machine or whatever else, and you're billing for stuff that happens externally, you can import those items in. We have a spreadsheet, so you bring in the numbers for generally just the quantities because you're already creating the rates here within the system, but you're importing the quantities in for each association so you can issue those invoices out. That's management module. One bonus item that comes with management module is our call log. And our call log is really a way for you to capture calls that you get from homeowners and actually assign them to individual accounts within the system. So if I'm on the phone with someone and I want to search for their name, and I can link that particular call log that I'm creating to an account that's in CINC. Once it's linked to that account, I can even link it to an already open correspondence. So maybe this homeowner is calling about a violation letter that he got, and I need to link this particular call to that violation record. I can do that through call log. A couple of other things with call log that you have access to. Of course, you can add it to an individual association, help you search. You can add the caller phone number, their email if they give that to you. This is all for the specific call. So it's really your way to be able to jot down, maybe it was the wife of the owner that's calling, or whatever notes you need to add here. And of course, you have a whole section for notes. But one thing you can do is assign this to a different user in CINC. So I may just be answering the phones and a homeowner is calling and they're upset about the violation letter, but they really want to talk to a manager. I can assign this call log to the manager of that association and they'll have a call waiting. So they can follow up on it and then post it when they're done. But one of the big things with call log is being able to keep track of not only how many calls you have, but also how long you spend on the phone with homeowners. So we start the timer for you as soon as you click call log, but then you can click when it's done just by hitting that button, and it puts that timestamp in this call. So when you save it or post it, it keeps record of that, and there are some reports you can run to get those details. And maybe with management module, you need to increase those fees because you're spending way too much time on the phone. This is a great way to be able to show that work. So now switching gears back and over into our management functions in CINC, and really what we think is unique to us and our approach to giving our management companies the tools they need to be able to do their jobs, and also giving them tools to help their boards do what they're supposed to be doing. And one of those huge tools that we have is Portfolio. And I'm going to start talking about Portfolio really where I would start working in Portfolio every day, and that's from the dashboard. So we have some dashboard widgets, and these dashboard widgets you can customize and set based on your user. So whatever I want to see when I log in, I can add those to my dashboard. It's user specific. For me, I want to see all of my open action items whenever I log in. So for this association, I can see every open action item here, and it shows me the ones that are past due up top. I can even change my view to all if I wanted to see all of my action items in all the associations. Then I can see the due dates are getting a little bit more out of control here. And this tells me right away, I mean, we show it in red if it's past due, that I really need to follow up on this, or I need to work on this. This is where my day should start. So that's one of the benefits from this dashboard widget. And then right from here, if I click on the link, it takes me to that action item. So I can actually start doing the work that I need to do. I can follow up with it, review any of the notes that have been added, change the status if I know something's already happened here, add more attachments, so on. And then another piece to the dashboard, we actually have a couple more widgets. One, and this is really related just to like an executive team or maybe the managers to be able to see properties by manager. It's also a good one for admins who may be answering the phones. So I had my call log open, but I'm not sure. I can look into some details about how many properties Andrew has versus someone else in the system. So I can see, just at a pretty quick glance, how many properties each manager is managing. But then I also have another one that shows me how many open action items there are for each manager. And this is where Portfolio starts to get a lot more nuanced in who it's impacting in the industry. I just showed you one person that gets impacted in Portfolio, and that's the manager. That's my way to keep up with my work. I can go and see these action items that are generated and actually follow up with them and keep a list of tasks and things I have to do for my associations in one place. So that's my benefit as a manager, but a benefit for maybe the manager of managers is there's visibility into how many open items and how many past due items for each manager right off the dashboard. And I can see Andrew's having some trouble, and I probably need to follow up with him and see how I can assist him. He's got 22 open action items, 14 of them are past due, something's going on. And this is a great way to get out in front of those emails or those calls from board members, letting you know they're going to fire you because the manager hasn't been responsive. So I can see this before it happens. That's the goal. And that's really why portfolio is a thing in CINC. Not only to give managers a way to keep up with tasks, but also a way just to have some visibility into what those tasks are without having to go sort through Outlook or email inboxes to find out what that manager's working on. It's a great tool as well if the manager leaves, maybe goes on an extended absence, to be able to see what's been going on and step in and help. So those are some of the dashboards around portfolio. One of the main actors in this portfolio module is the management plan. This management plan will generate action items based on how I set it up to run. So the due date, whatever the item is, whose responsibility it is. There's currently two, boards and the management company. We'll go over that in a sec. And then how many days prior to the due date do I want to be working on this action item? The system creates the items for me, and this is my benefit as a manager to keep up with all these tasks. I set it up at the beginning of the year of all the things I know are going to happen, and the system's going to create those action items for me, and then I can follow up on them and actually do the work. That's one of the huge benefits here. And one of the things we've recently added is to show you if you've tried to create an action item through your management plan for something that's in the past, we just show you that. So you know that these are the ones that are going to start generating off of the management plan moving forward. Another piece to this, and we'll go to where the action items live, another function that this serves, or another party that the portfolio benefits, is the board. So there's not just manager action items where I have my tasks and I'm doing all my work. We also have board action items. And these are action items that can be assigned to the board, and they can review them, comment on them, comment to other board members through the web access portal. And so they can see and participate in these different tasks that are happening. Things like reviewing homeowner accounts for payment plans. And when I do an action item for the board like this, I can assign a homeowner's account to it. So if they need to review the homeowner's account, here's the link to that homeowner's account right in the action item. Makes it easy for them to find the information they need to be able to do the work you're asking of them. And then, like I said, they can comment back and forth to all of their other board members. Last main thing with portfolio, and this is on my list. I said I used to manage in CINC. This is on my list of things I wish I had when I was managing. This is our portfolio maintenance items, and it's a huge benefit in my mind. So one of the things I did is I managed the work orders for the management company I worked for, a good portion of them. And whenever a work order would come in from like a townhome or a condo, and the homeowner's asking for some maintenance on their unit, I just didn't know every single association setup, and a lot of them were specific, at least where I managed. So I'd have to go rooting around the governing docs to find out who's responsible to maintain the columns in the front of the townhome, or who maintains the shutters, or who maintains the siding. And in some associations, it was extremely specific. So I have a way here with maintenance items to create categories of maintenance, and then individual items within each category, and set who's responsible to maintain that particular maintenance item. Huge benefit, because this shows up not just here. So if I'm on the phone with a homeowner and I need to tell them who's responsible for what, I can see it here. It also shows up when homeowners try to submit work orders through the web portal, and it won't let them submit work orders for things that are marked as a homeowner responsibility. But you can also customize a message to them to let them know why, because per the governing docs in this section, in this area, it's your responsibility. But here's a preferred vendor, or here's a way you can go about it. All of those things are available with these maintenance items. If it is an association's responsibility, you can pre-assign it to a vendor. So whatever landscaping action item, or sorry, work order would come through, it's going to go to my contracted landscaping vendor. I can assign that for each association and even mark it as pre-approved. That means once the work order comes in, it's going to automatically dispatch an email to that vendor to let them know they have a work order with the details in the email. And you can customize that email template as well. So that's a lot of the benefit around portfolio, even down into how it impacts work orders. The last thing that I wanted to show, and what's unique to CINC, and the things that are really unique about this, is our CINC Manager app. So real quick, I'm going to switch screens here because I've already got the app pulled up. And then let's talk through the CINC Manager app. So once you log into the CINC Manager app, it's tied to your user in CINC, which means what you do in the app is going to be assigned to you when you get back into the software to generate your letters. But from here, I can mark associations as favorites. I would use this primarily if I had like 5 associations, and maybe that's aggressive, 3 associations I'm going to do an inspection for in a day. I'm going to mark those as my favorite so I can easily access them from our favorites tab. So I can go into, we'll use Andrew's Training Association. And then we keep track of all of the streets in the association. And you're able to see right before you even open up a street, some information about what's going on. Like I can see there are 9 open violations in Accent Street and so on. Looks like Madison Street's going to be a fun walkthrough. So let's go ahead and open up Madison Street and see what's going on. Once I open up the street, I can see each individual unit. And again, we show you information up front. So we get the useful information in your face, like there are open violations here, big red exclamation mark. We can also see work orders. We can even see architectural requests. There's 2 architectural requests going on in 1000 Madison Street. So before I pull up to the unit or before I open up their account to actually do the work, I can see some information about it. If I click into 1000 Madison Street, of course, I'm on their record. We also show when there are violations past due or ready to be escalated to the next level. That's what this red date means. And then, like I said, you can view work orders from here and see if there are any work orders at the unit. And you can also see architectural requests. Extremely useful tool if you're doing an inspection and you see there's a fence up or maybe a new mailbox going up and they haven't put the box on it, they just got a post in the ground. And I can go here and see, okay, well, they've requested an enhancement to their exterior unit. And maybe this one's still in an open status, but they've already got the mailbox up. That tells me some information I need to do about issuing a violation letter, maybe even a cease and desist, whatever you got to do. This gives you some useful information up front. With violations, you go in based on your setup. You can create a violation for any type of item. Again, whatever you have set up, maybe it's parking in the street. And then, of course, you can take a picture, and that picture will be included in the letter. And we're doing this live, so I'm going to take a picture of my floor, and then we'll use that photo. So that picture will get inserted into the letter with a date and time stamp. It's also available and viewable on web access if the homeowner wants to go and see their full-size color image. So this is part of how you would issue these violations. And if I'm done, I'll go ahead and just click save here. And then we move on to the next one. Another thing that I want to point out and kind of show what I talked about with the maintenance items and categories, if I'm going to create a new work order and I select a maintenance category and a maintenance item that is the homeowner's responsibility, it won't let me submit it. It looks like I chose one that was. So we'll go ahead and continue here. If it is the association's responsibility, it'll let me move forward, and then I can fill out the work order details. But that's pretty much everything to do with the management functions in CINC, along with management module, kind of a bonus, because it's really geared around accounting and corporate accounting. But that's what I wanted to show, just to give you guys an example of what stands out and to highlight what makes the app unique to CINC specifically. It's available in both Android stores or the Google Play Store and the Apple stores for any of those devices. If you have an Android tablet, you can download the app and do your inspections on a tablet. You can do it on your iPhone, your Android phone, your iPad. It's available on all those stores and all those devices. We also have an offline mode. And so if when I was doing this inspection, I needed to switch offline because I don't have a good signal. I mean, I got Wi-Fi here, so I have a great signal. But if I know I'm going to go out into an association that doesn't have a good signal, I can download the violation data prior to doing that inspection. And then I can do my inspection completely offline without any signal or any 5G mobile network, and then sync the violations when I get back to the office. And then all of my letters will be there for me to send out to my owners. So those are a couple of ways that the CINC Manager app is very unique to CINC. And that's pretty much everything that we had to cover. So I appreciate y'all's time. Good to talk with you again. And hope you guys were able to learn something new.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I feel like for our short time, that was a lot of information. I learned something, which I always do anytime I talk to you. If you guys didn't already put it together, if you happen to catch our commercial that we did for Unique to CINC, this is our amazing performer and voiceover artist. So he's multifaceted, super talented. Yeah, we love Andrew here. But
Thanks.
again, guys, we recorded this. So if you happen to miss it, come in late. If you know someone who you feel like this information would be super useful to, feel free to share it. We're going to email it. Again, if you don't get it, reach out to your CINC team. If you're not already a CINC customer, then you can connect with us at cincsystems.com/request-a-demo. Existing customers, again, reach out to your CINC team members. If for some reason you're having absolute trouble getting through to someone, which is rare because we're team players here, you can reach me at ashley.carter@cincsystems.com, and I will point you in the right direction of the right person. And guys, before we leave, I want to give you a heads up that we'll be back here again next Tuesday, where we will be covering board tools. So more good information. We're going to do this quick, get you in and out, but you'll learn a lot there as well. You can register for that at cincsystems.com/unique. Unfortunately, if you registered for this one, you do still have to go back and register for the next one. So make sure you take a moment to do that. Again, that's cincsystems.com/unique. And if you're looking to speak with someone about something you learned here, cincsystems.com/request-a-demo. I'm going to get you guys back to your day. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you, Andrew.
Yep. Thank you all.